Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm on my way. Right now, I'm on the BQE. If you don't know what the BQE stands for, it's Brooklyn Queens. It stands for Brooklyn Queens Expressway. All right. Headed over to a job. It's 7 o'clock a.m. here in the Northeast of the United States. I am speaking to you guys from my service van on my way to a service call, which actually starts at 9 a.m. But I like to get there, I know, about an hour and a half early, due to the fact that parking's difficult to find in Manhattan. Like I said in a previous video, where I talked about for people who need to stop parking so close behind us blue-collar guys while we're doing service calls, right? But anyways, this is a little new topic today. Now, it deals with the electrical. I know some of you guys who are, maybe you guys are starting out, junior mechanics starting out in the service department of your company, the company you work for. They give you a van, you're driving around the city or around town, people's homes. But if you're living in any of the major cities in the United States, for when I live within the 5 boroughs of New York City, most of my service calls are in the city itself, Manhattan. Okay, and the service calls are mostly just renters, homeowners, which technically they don't really own an exact house, literally a house. It's like an apartment or a penthouse or a duplex they own that they purchase from the building management that manages the building, and they don't pay rent. They purchase the apartment unit, and basically once they purchase the apartment unit, they can do whatever they want with it. They want to renovate it, they can renovate it as long as they get approval. They get approval for it from building management. And what I mean by approval is meaning that they find a contractor, they get the contractor to send all the insurance, the licensing, all that jazz. So basically, it's like owning a home. You own a home. What do? You get a contractor, right? You want to get a licensed contractor. You want to get all that stuff. Make sure he's insured. Make sure he's any damages happen, the insurance can pay for it. He's fully insured and licensed, right? So, but then also you have, in some cases, or most, renters who rent these $23,000 to, or like $1,100 to $23,000, sometimes more, 23,000 plus, meaning more, way above that. That rents out for wealthy business owners or Wall Street individuals. They just make money, and they wanna, they have to go through the whole process of calling the building management, or aka their landlord, who runs basically the building, takes care of their needs. They have to pay rent through them. So they call them up. They say, hey, I need an electrician. I want to replace a light. I want to replace this, or I want to add this. I want to add an outlet. I want to add a switch. I want to add a light in the closet. This and that, right? They'll go out of. Sometimes the process is long. I don't know why that is. Maybe they're busy with other tenants. But usually they'll call them up and they'll have us come over, and they don't pay anything. The building management pays for it. They basically pay for it. Alright, so all you need is like the signature from the tenant proving that you did the work, it was authorized, you were there, it's done, everything's working, boom. You sign, the tenant signs off, information, either you're doing a paper or you're doing it on a tablet or iPad. If you're doing it on paper, you're still doing paper receipts, that's fine. Leave the copy to the customer, the other copies will go to the office and they'll get sent, emailed, or what, and etc. If you're doing if you're doing your service calls, servicing on an iPad or a tablet, a Galaxy tablet, better, even better. You still get the sign off from the tenant. That get emailed directly to the building management and to the office or whoever is behind the desk of the office. So what I'm getting at here is basically whenever doing service calls, right? Like just recently I had a client out in Harlem, Spanish Harlem, I believe, yeah, Spanish Harlem, and sweetest customer I ever met. She was very sweet, very kind. You know, as I was working, we struck up a conversation. Awesome, positive energy, awesome. She was very, very generous. You know, she wanted some things added. For instance, she had an air conditioner in her living room, and it's plugged into the same circuits that all the other outlets in her living room. So she was asking that she wanted a separate outlet for the AC, and if it was possible to tap it in from the other outlets that were in that existing room. Now, I had to tell her, well, typically, in situations like this, you would want an AC outlet near your window where it's dedicated. When I say dedicated, it's an individual circuit from the panel to the outlet, to the receptacle. So she said, okay, and I informed her well enough about it, and then she also had another issue with her refrigerator. She had an existing outlet in the kitchen. On one side of the kitchen was just one outlet, and I checked to see there was power. There was power present with my pen tester. I came back a couple of days later, actually yesterday. Checked for power. Power still present. Removed the outlet, which by the way was one of the two-prong old outlets because it was a pre-World War building, very old building. And as I removed the outlet, the entire outlet and the plate, which was caked in paint, came off. And the whole time that I was my tester was sensing current, like power, it wasn't even connected. The wire, it was just two little 14 gauge stranded wires that wasn't even connected to the device, and there was power present. So ultimately I was getting feedback. I was getting a lot of feedback on the wall itself. I put my pen tester on the wall. Anywhere on the wall, I got a beep. So obviously, there's no lines in the wall. I had to contact the super and everything. They told me, well, you know, there's no wires running down this wall except for the one that you see there. So I said, gosh, you know, that's really odd. You know, and the wall is basically going towards, opposite from that wall is the hallway, the main hallway to the building, where the elevator lobby is and all that, and all the other tenants go walk past, or corridor, out, you know, community corridor. I said, wow, that's so weird that I'm getting all this feedback. But then eventually it stopped. My pen tester couldn't sense it anymore. So I came up with a solution. I said, well, from the previous visit about the AC outlet, I did an estimate. I told her I could include this in the estimate and run a separate line and do the same thing for your outlet. Basically, what I estimated for was that there was two options, whether we chop the wall for AC and refrigerator outlet, because it was all plaster and terracotta. But the only thing is we don't have patchwork, so I have to get another. Sorry for the loud noise, by the way, and the camera's a little shaky. I'm on the highway still. So forgive me for that. It's going to be a little bumpy and noisy. It's telling me to take the FDR. I'm not supposed to take the FDR drive with a commercial vehicle, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the West Side Highway. Alright, we're getting into the tunnel. Let's get into the tunnel. Good thing I'm not doing this live because I will lose service. Alright, so anyways, I told her, like, you know, two options. You could, whoa, what was that? Oh, hubcap just flew right in front of my van. Like underneath, that was crazy. So, two options. So we either chop up the wall, make a channel for the wire, strap it inside, and then you're gonna have to contact the an outside another contractor, general contractor, to patch it all up. And she says, "Well, how much do you think that be?" To be honest with you, I don't know the price off the top of my head, but it would be costly. It would be cost efficient. So she said, "What's the second option, Jonathan?" And I said, "Well, we can go with metallic wire mold, metallic raceway wire mold." So she didn't know what it was, and I said, "Okay, I got a few pictures here. I'll just show you what I'm talking about, what I mean by that." So I showed her a few pictures of a pharmacy for metallic raceway wire mold, and she said, "Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. But what would you have to do? What would that entail?" So I explained to her what had to be done, and she says, "You know what? Let's do it." I ran an estimate, added part of that estimate I added was with the refrigerator to the AC outlet, and now she can't wait for me, to get the estimate, to get the price, everything. She can't wait for me to come back. She only wants me to be there. There's certain customers that you have a connection with, and they like you. They don't want anyone else, so they will request you instead. Because they trust you. Level of trust there, which is great. You should have that with a customer. The point I'm getting at here is the customer I was dealing with. She was totally agreeable. I weighed in her options, and she went with the easiest route. Now I told her it'll take a little longer, but it's a little bit more cost efficient. You wouldn't have to break into the walls or anything like that, and it's less of a mess. Not a lot of dust going on or anything like that. Fewer holes. You'll be good. Now there are some customers I had in the past that have issues with that. What I mean by issues is that you're gonna run into some customers in old homes such as the pre-World War buildings that I just explained. You're gonna run into some customers that are very, very, very indecisive and very difficult. And what I mean by that is that you're gonna have customers that say, "Well, what are my options?" You give them one to three options, or 2 to 3 options. For instance, when I said, "Let's channel the walls," blah, 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 they say, "No, I don't want anything to break into the walls." Then you give them the second option. "Let's try wire mold raceway, metallic raceway." Okay, what does that entail? You explain to them, well, I don't want anything mounted on my walls. I don't know, it's going to be off-putting, going to be offsetting. Well, those are the only options I tell them. Actually, those are the only 2 options that I know of. For the customer, you'll have a customer that'll sit there, look at you, and say, "Well, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. There's got to be another way." Listen, we're not magicians. I'm gonna tell you straight up right now. Those of you DIYers or homeowners, especially those here living in the city, I know this is gonna sound a little blunt. It's gonna sound crazy to you. Look at me and say, "Well, we don't want to do business with you," and this and that. If you're gonna think that way, no. This is the harsh reality. This is the reality of it. The only way I know of, when it comes to terracotta, brick, masonry, that sort of solid material in your walls, when there is no plaster and lath board, there's no drywall. If you have straight up terracotta, plaster, masonry, brick wall behind there, the only 2 options are either channeling or surface mounted raceway, aka wire mold. Either metallic or plastic. Majority of the time we go with metallic because it's just better. It's more solid. Plastic breaks, it wears out, and you don't have to worry about replacing the adhesive as much. Unless you're doing it like with low voltage, Ethernet cabling and so forth, or trying to hide some cables behind a TV or whatever. But yeah, those are the only 2 options that I know of that in my experience, would tell you these are your 2 options. There are no other options. So don't try to be creative. Don't try to convince me otherwise. Those are your only 2 options. You cannot just keep constantly trying to get another option out of me because of your walls. Your apartment is old as my grandparents. Okay? You have solid walls. It's going to require two things: wire, surface mounted raceway, or channeling. Majority of the time, it's both. Okay? Some customers, if they have the money, if they feel that they can spend a few extra dollars, they'll do channeling because they don't want to see anything mounted on their walls, and they'll have enough money to actually play with to hire another contractor to come patch up the work, all the cuts and patch, basically all of the demolition that was done on your walls. Okay, they'll have the money, and they say, yeah, go for it. Majority of the time, they'll go for it if they have the money. Now, if they don't, the second option would be, and most cost efficient, would be surface mounted raceway. I used to get a lot of customers, and I probably still do. Once in a while, I'll get one or two of them who still tell me, no, there's gotta be another way. Listen, I tell them straight up, this is what you have in your walls. I can't wave a magic wand and just have an outlet appear in your wall. These are your only two options. I used to have two customers that were very difficult with this. They just didn't understand, and they would constantly complain in front of me, telling me, no, there's gotta be another way. This is ridiculous. I don't want damage on my walls. I don't want nothing on my walls. I just want an outlet. Why can't you give me that? Those are your only two options. Okay? I can't say enough of what you want from me here. All right? You need to understand that you have a professional contractor or professional electrician come to your home, or professional tradesman, come to your home and tell you, listen, we got to do it this way. There's two options: you do this way, that way, because there's no other way, a way around these two options. You can't tell them otherwise. They've been doing this longer than you have. We've been doing this longer than you have. Okay? If you don't want it on your walls and you're going to sit and pout about it, we won't simply do any work at all. Okay? Do not be difficult with us. You need to understand something. Okay? By us being there, giving you those two options, and you're complaining and pouting about it, and not, then just decide right there and then to hold off on it, on the idea, until you can look. You can go ahead and go to other contractors. You can go ahead and get a second opinion. The next electrical contractor is going to tell you the same thing, and you're going to get the repetitive answer over and over. There's no way around it. Okay? It is what it is. It's how the buildings were made. You can't change it. Okay? So, and if that's the case, then you're going to keep us there while complaining about, oh, you don't want that on your wall, you don't want us breaking your wall to run wire. Don't keep us there in your home and pout and complain. We have other customers to get to. We don't just think you're special, you're the only one. Okay? There's money to be made in this industry. We have other appointments to get to with other clients. And I know the saying, the customer's always right, but in this case, you're not. Okay? If you're gonna keep us there pouting, and I've been in where a customer will pout, complain, and I say, okay, listen, how about we do this? We can schedule another revisit. And then they say, no, I need this done now. No, but I don't want this and that. Those two options done. You got to figure something out. I'm like, there are no other way. There are no other options. They'll get really nasty with me and tell me, no, you're just saying that because you don't want to do the job. Or no, that's just, there's got to be another way. You're just being incompetent. One thing, you homeowners and tenants, and if you're living in New York City and you're watching this, please do not get sassy with us. Do not get salty. Do not show sass. I'm telling you right now. Okay? You're going to regret the words you say to a blue collar guy. Okay? We'll simply just won't do business with you. And you may come across guys where they like to record stuff on their phone. And if you go across and start insulting them, they can turn around and sue you for defamation of character. That's just how it is. I'm not saying I would do it. I would never do that. You know, I'm not that petty. You know, I'm just petty enough to give you some attitude back if you're going to be that way. Okay, and difficult and frustrate me. But if you're going to say things to the other guy, to the next guy, he may be recording the conversation in his phone. You know, and you don't even know it. You can tell him, well, you're incompetent, you're this, you're a loser, oh, this and that. You can't do the job because you're this and that. He'll turn around, get a lawyer, and get that lawyer to serve papers to get you sued. Okay? So be very careful. As much as we have to be careful what we say when we're coming to your home and how we have to show respect, you need to show the same respect to us as well. We're there to do the job. Okay? Do not ever tell us how to do our job and that we are incompetent of doing it, because you do not have the experience. If that's the case, we'll just leave and let you figure it out on your own. It's that simple. It's common sense. If you don't know how to use it, read a book about common sense. I'm sorry to say. I know I'm being a little bit of a jerk on this, sorry, but this is the world we live in. This is reality. You know? So don't get mad, don't get salty, don't get petty. These jerks, they don't. People in New York City do not know how to drive. You know, have patience. And that's it. All right. So please have the patience. Listen to our consultation. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. Don't be that person, okay? Don't be that person that wants to undermine and think you know it all. You don't. You don't know the trade. And just because you watch a couple of YouTube videos about it, you best keep watching them YouTube videos, I guess. Because you'll have electricians on YouTube tell you the same thing I'm telling you. Is what it is. All right, so but let me know in the comment section down below, guys. What are the experiences you've had with customers like that? How you go about explaining them? How about explaining how to do, you know, fishing wires or installing outlets and switches and lights and so forth in masonry walls? Okay. Let me know in the comment section down below. Have you ever had a difficult customer? Have you had a customer get petty and salty and show you sass? Let me know. Alright? Until then, guys, take care. Always remember, wear your personal protective equipment. Watch each other's back. Help one another out. I'll see you guys next time.